Gotta catch 'em all. Good day, my fancy friends. My name is Topnotch, and welcome to Topnotch Tuesday, the only day of the week that I can tell you about the favorite games that I've played throughout my years of life. Yes, Pokémon. I am a nerd, and you probably already knew that because you watch my channel or you're subscribed to me. But now you know that I'm an even bigger nerd than before, because yes, I did play Pokémon. In fact, I collected hundreds of Pokémon cards. I played nearly every game except for the new generations, which are X and Y, and the remakes. Well, technically, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire aren't really new generations, but they're sort of in the same category, so they're sort of Gen 6. But nonetheless, I've played many Pokemon games. We've all played probably many Pokemon games throughout our years, even if it's just one. But there's always people who have different opinions about the games, whether they hate them. Obviously, we all know about the Gen 1ers who only want to stick to the very first Pokemon games, Red, Blue, and Yellow, mainly for weird reasons. Not even going to get into it because it's very weird. Don't know why they deny the existence of many others. But that's pretty much what a lot of us have done in our life, is played Pokemon at some point or another or have been exposed to Pokemon in some form. So I thought that today I would do a top 5. Yes, we're gonna start doing some top 5s. There's a good reason for it, but I'll get to that in later weeks. But we're gonna do some top 5s, and we're gonna start with one that I was really gonna be able to do easier, and it's my top 5 favorite Pokemon games. And it took a little bit of thought process to get the list sort of put into the order it is, because again, like any other top 10 or top 5 list, this is my personal opinions as to how the games are going to be ranked. And I guess number 1 is a favorite for maybe a lot of people, but it should be a very interesting experience because you guys will get to know again a little bit more about who I am and my backstory. And obviously eventually we'll get to a Draw My Life, and that will really set everything in motion. But as a little side note before the episode starts, guess what? I got a good mythical morning mug, and I actually do have some coffee in it. Probably can't, yeah, you can see it. So I do have some coffee in a good mythical morning mug. My grandparents actually got this for me for my birthday, and it's actually pretty freaking sweet. So yeah, I have some coffee, and I haven't actually drank it because it's a little too hot still. But I thought I'd give you guys that. I'm going to be doing this top 5 and pretty much every other Top Notch Tuesday as a mythical beast. Thank you, Good Mythical Morning, for having these wonderful mugs, and I'm glad that I got to buy one. So, without further ado, we're going to do a top 5 Pokemon, starting with obviously number 5. Number 5. So Pokemon Diamond is at number 5 on the list. And I know what some of you guys might be saying. You might either hate the game really bad, or you might really, really love the game and be completely blowing up the comments saying, what is wrong with you for putting this so low on the list? Again, this is my personal opinion. Diamond, as well as Pearl and Platinum obviously being one of my favorites, but Diamond being the first DS Pokemon game I ever played, it comes at number 5 because while it was definitely fun, as any Pokemon game has been to me, it just didn't have that sense of... It didn't have that fun sense about it. I mean, sure, it was fun, like I've said, but it just wasn't the same feel as many other Pokemon games I've played have. There are definitely a lot of things that I could find wrong with the game. One is a lot of the Pokemon are sort of unusable because there's just a bunch of single stage evolutions, and some you can't get until maybe even after the game finishes. While you can get people like Giratina in the game, which is cool because he didn't have a main story until Platinum. He didn't have his own story. You could still get him, which is a pretty cool bonus, but he caught him at level 70, and catching legends or any Pokemon at a high level makes it a little less fun to train unless it's a special Pokemon. But because it's given to everyone, that's why Diamond made it low on the list, is because there was just not that much really going for it that gave it a higher spot. Number 4. Pokemon Leaf Green made it number 4 on the list, And why didn't it make it higher, but why didn't it make it super low? It's because Pokemon Leaf Green was, again, like I've said in previous video, was one of the first games that I ever beat to completion, at least as far as the main story and the extra story, and it just has that old, fun game feel to it. Obviously, a lot of the new games are too new in their graphics, and they just don't have that really cool nostalgia feel to them. But Pokemon Leaf Green, even though I never grew up within the original release of Pokemon Leaf Green, I mean, I was already probably 5 or 6 when Pokemon Leaf Green was released. I still never really played the game until way later in my early teen years. But nonetheless, it still made it number 4 because it just had such an awesome feel to it, like I said, and it didn't make it higher though because it was so limited in the original story side of it with the selection of Pokemon that you couldn't really pick from many people until after you beat the game, and you could go to like the 7 islands and all the extra story and all the other regions Pokemon started coming into play. But nonetheless, it was still a very fun game, still one that I would go back to and play. I probably will do that in a playthrough sometime in the future, mind you, but it just didn't make it higher on the list because of some of those reasons. Number 3. Yes, number 3 was a tie between Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, and you could even include Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2. Why is it a tie? Well, I chose Pokemon Black for my self, and my brother, he chose Pokemon White. And I thought Reshiram was one of the coolest Pokemon out there, namely because Dragon and Fire types are 2 of my favorite types, if not my most favorite Pokemon types amongst all of the types out there. And it's weird because those are the 2 hardest to train. Reshiram is the combination of both of them, and it makes it even more difficult to train them. But nonetheless, it was just really, really cool to play that game and get Reshiram, the Pokemon I'd wanted for so long when I heard Black and White was coming out in the original, release facts and stuff. And I was just really excited. And then I got Pokemon, I can't think. And then I got Pokemon Black 2. And it's funny because they actually went with the right Pokemon. They actually put Zekrom as the Pokemon that sort of stars in that version. Pokemon Black originally had Reshiram, which is white, and they flipped it. So I was able to experience both sides of the argument. And namely, I gotta say, Zekrom is probably even cooler than Reshiram. I'm sorry for those who like Reshiram, namely because he's just so strong. And obviously when he's fused with Kyurem in the second game, he's just this overpowered physical attacker who is just absolutely a blast to use. And it didn't get higher on the list because it may have been really cool, it may have been really new, I may have put 400 hours into Pokemon Black 2 and not counting the original, but still, it just didn't have a good enough sense to it to make it higher on the list. Number 2. Coming at number 2 on the list is Pokemon Sapphire, and it could include Pokemon Ruby and Emerald, but I've never actually played those games to completion. I'm actually in the middle of playing Pokemon Ruby by myself on my computer. Like, as the weeks have been going on, I've just sort of started getting more into playing Pokemon again. And I played Sapphire. It was the first Pokemon game I think I ever played, Game Boy or DS version, and I did beat the game, and holy crap, it was such a fulfilling feel about it, because Steven, he was such a hard champion to fight, and getting Kyogre and using him, and it was just so cool. And the fact that it's an older game, it just made it that much cooler because it had that sense again of nostalgia about it, even though I never grew up playing the Sapphire when it was actually originally released. And I remember many days, many stormy days, mind you, I could just lay there for hours, just laying on my bed, playing Pokemon Sapphire, and it just had such an awesome feeling about it. You could just do nothing but play Pokemon Sapphire on the night of a storm or something, and it just had such a calming feel to it. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I feel about it, and that's why I made it number 2 on the list, but we still have number 1. Number 1. number 1 on the list is Pokemon Heart Gold or Soul Silver. And this is my very favorite Pokemon game of any of them that I have played thus far. Why does it make it high on the list as opposed to so many others? One, it's the first remake of Pokemon that they actually introduced, and it's the first Pokemon remake that, I've actually played, because I haven't gotten to play Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and I really look forward to playing it sometime. Because again, it's Sapphire remake, so it's so cool. But back to Heart Gold. Heart Gold I chose, and my brother chose Soul Silver, and I've got, of course, Ho-Oh as the legendary to be able to capture at the end of the game. Throughout the entire game, there was never a dull moment. Sure, maybe playing through it 18 times, maybe got a little boring at some points that were just tedious grinding of levels, but for the first playthrough, and even for quite a few playthroughs, there was never a dull moment about it. The fact that you could have your Pokemon walk behind you the whole time, the fact that there were all the Pokeballs that could be made by Kurt, which I found out later actually sucked. There was the awesome soundtrack. Holy crap, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the Elite Four, the gym leaders, Lance especially, and obviously the battle with Red, the same theme but just so much cooler when you fight Red. The gym leaders from Kanto whose themes get remade for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Everything about it. There's a few other aspects. The fact that some of the Pokemon are just really cool. There's the baby Pokemon, which some people really hate, but I somehow find absolutely adorable. Obviously, we probably would never have gotten Voltycle Pikachu if we didn't have Pichu. At least that's my understanding. Maybe there's another reason. But then there's the fact that it's one story, which is Johto, and then after you beat the Elite Four, you can move to Kanto. You can go back to the original routes, refight all the gym leaders from there, reface the Elite Four and fight the champion at stronger levels, and then you can fight Red, the ultimate Pokemon trainer. There is just so much about this game that screams amazing that I don't know why it's not some people's number 1 or everyone's top number 1 Pokemon game. All in all, this game is absolutely amazing. I actually lost my Heart Gold copy and I don't know where it is. Hopefully there's an emulator that will allow me to play that. I don't know, maybe there is. You guys can let me know if there is and I can try to play that. But yes, Heart Gold will always remain in my heart the top Pokemon game in my opinion. So anyways guys, that was another Topnotch Tuesday. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like below. Hey, why don't you drop a comment? Tell me what your favorite Pokemon game to play ever was. I'll even respond positively or negatively depending on what you choose. Every Pokemon game is awesome, don't get me wrong. I just had different opinions about each one, and obviously, like I said, Heart Gold's the best. But as always, have a top-notch day, and I'll catch you all later.